Alright, so today Cliff and I, Rina, will be interviewing Eunice Liao, who is also the daughter of the founder of APIBox. Yay! Okay, so Eunice, let's have a casual interview, okay?
Hello.
Hi, Mr. John. So, we are a group of students from Taylor's University. So, today we will be interviewing you a few questions regarding your company, APIBox. So, I'm Winnie. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, I'm Xiao Jay. Nice to meet you also. Hello.
这样子可以问一下第一个问题，就是可以问一下你的公司 APIBox right？的创始人是谁？是你对吗？
是的。
这样子可以问一下你的公司其实是成立于哪一年的？哪一年开始的？
应该是在2011年这样子。
OK， 这样子可以问一下你现在这个家族的这个企业 right， 目前是处于第几代啊？第一代还是第二代啊？
第一代。
第一代，OK， 你的 APIBox right 的当前的那个组织架构是什么？就是很像 CEO 是你对吧？然后你下面还有 Director 还是有 Manager 这样子吗？你可以 further 跟我们讲一下吗
？OK， 其实这个生意呢，就是说，就目前是 work at home， 所以开始的时候是我自己一个人，那么接到现在来所以是Eunice 是我的其中的一个staff 跟我配合在这方面是这样子。
Eunice 是不是你唯一一个女儿啊？还是你还有其他的孩子？
有还有一个儿子，他的哥哥。
So are you the only family member who is working in the company?
Let's see. Since my father is the founder, yes, I am the only family member working.
OK， 这次可以问你的这个生意其实是如何开始的？就是你怎样开始这个生意？就是你的创业的那个灵感其实是来自何处？就是来自哪里的？怎么你会想到要开始这个生意
？OK， 方便我讲一下我的background一点的带
可以。
就是这样子的。我在这个 before APIBox 之前，我是做 catalog sales 的，就是说那个像 Avon 这样子的 catalog sales， 我们是做 leather product bag 然后也是有这种 bed sheet 这种是以 direct sales 的这种方式去做这个生意的。我们的生意是做全码，所以就是说生意也是做的失败了，然后我才过来给因为从零开始嘛，所以就是接触了一些朋友，就讲开始我就是接触到 logistics， 就是我朋友他们是在老越有做 logistics 做得不错，中国有仓库，所以他没有做嘛，所以我就开始做这个行业，所以就开始这个 APIBox 就出来了。那么在这个过程当中，就是说在不断的做的时候开始做到越做越好，但是这个建设的生活很逼人因为就是说以前是 GST 一下子又来，就影响到就是说很多 customer 他们不需要依赖到我们帮他们进口嘛，那么接下来就要开始去变通了，要生存嘛，对吧？所以开始后来又去找到这个客人要就是说他装回家里要找这个 aluminium 的，他问我有没有做，这样巧我们做中国代理的生意认识很多人嘛。这个行业我也是从零开始，因为我之前我一路来都做 marketing 的嘛，所以我铁骑的抓不人，所以就是这个 aluminium 的这个 glass window 这种logistic 我也是有做，那么 APIBox 的这个 aluminium 的 windows。我就开始也是有去做，后来我就找到一个比较平衡的 focus 点，就讲对个人的这个前景跟他的利益，我是觉得 aluminium 的这个 potential 是比较大了，所以目前是开始在这方面。如果是说本地的话，因为本地也是有很多他们 traditional 的这些一般的 Windows aluminium 都有了，但是如果我是跟他们做同样的这个 level 的这个定位，可能我很难生存，因为我又没有厂嘛，对吧？所以我可以做的就是说找一些比较特别，就像中国的一些 double glaze 的一些 tempered glass 有 double protection， 再加上我引进一些比较新的东西，就是说有那种 netting panel， 就说不需要家里再装 grill 了嘛，有那个 netting panel 就变得他们打开窗口，风能够吹进来，outside 不会进来，所以就变得一些新的产品来推动，能够给他们一些我们的 customer 有更好的 secure home 跟好的 living
So can you give us like a brief details of what is your position in the company and what do you do for the company?
So in APIBox, I'm a part-time employee. So my job is to facilitate like the digital side of the business, like example managing the Facebook page, the digital marketing, helping out with the ads like advertisement boosting, and also replying to customers who reach out to us on Messenger.
So, what are the current challenges that you are facing right now working as an employee?
Working as an employee, I'd say it would be my lack of experience and knowledge that I have yet to learn in tailors.
I see.
And so currently one of the challenges is that a lot of times customers that reach out to us on Messenger don't have enough buying power, and that's an issue because in APIBOX we sell aluminium frame tempered glass, windows, doors, and shower screens. So these items are premium, which means that of course they're a little bit more costly compared to the traditional normal windows and doors you'd see in the market. So the challenge right now is how we're supposed to like reposition ourselves in the market, how to reposition APIBOX in the market in order to reach out to customers who actually have the buying power. So that's one of the challenges.
我在问的一个问题就是很像你是如何就是在你的自己的个人生活跟你的女儿的之间就是相处，就是保持平衡，就是因为会不会太忙啊，然后没有时间去陪你女儿啊？
好的，这个问题你问得很好，就很像刚才我说的，我为什么我之前的生意失败了，我都坚持自己，我不要去跟别人打工。我要自己做自己的生意，就算是 work at home 也好，从零开始，我就有很多的这个自由的时间。我要怎样？我做多，我可能我就得到更多，对吗？我的时间方面就很 flexible。如果我打工的话，我就没有这样的时间，就被别的公司的绑着嘛，这个是其中一点啊。然后另外一点就是讲，因为这样的话，我有时间方面我自己能够管理嘛。那么在家庭方面来说，这个就不是会有一个很大的问题。再加上来说。其实最主要的话，我跟 Eunice 的话也是有一个共同的信仰。那么在这个共同的这个信仰来说，大家有一个 same direction， 都是说我们会互相的尊重，对吗？然后在彼此方面的给予鼓励，对吗？然后也是有一个同样的 focus 目标，就是讲我们要创造一个和乐的家庭，对吧？Eunice 来说人又很 nice， 对吗？我每次在他身上我能够找到很多的快乐。
How does the family balance personal life and business with your father? Do you think that, do you see differences between you and the father in working life, doing working life and doing your personal life at home?
How to balance it? That's a very good question. It's more like very simultaneous. If it happens, it happens. If it's currently about work, like my father is going to check the site or going to meet a customer, then we will treat each other as work and be more serious. But then when it's at home, like we're just relaxing, then okay, we're father and daughter.
How's your relationship with your father? Like, did you start seeing him differently when you started working with him?
Yes, I have. So at home, we would normally be very close. I'm really happy that we have like a close relationship together.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you. But at work, let's see. When I just started, right, I had no experience at all. So my father had this kind of like, he expected me to know what was going on. So whenever he gave me directions, it was really vague and general. It wasn't really clear.
Like not detailed.
Yeah, so sometimes I would get things wrong, but thankfully the mistakes weren't that big lah.
这样子你跟 Eunice 的关系如何嘞？就是很像如果你们在讨论你们那些就是说他会参与你们 company 的东西对吧？就是你们在讨论你们 company 的东西的时候，是否就是好像会有遇到一些 conflict 啊，就是那些纠纷啊，你们意见不合这样子啊，对吗
？OK， 其实是不会的。像目前来说 ，Eunice 都跟我配合，在于这个 Facebook 的一些对 out 的这个 customer 的一些 reply， 所以在这一方面的话，我都很 open 的，就是说由他去发挥，他不明白他会问我，然后在于一些 conflict 上来说。就一般上我们都会以你有什么看法 ？OK， 我的看法是怎样，对吗？大家能够找一个中立，对吧？能够去双方面都能够认同的 ，OK， 这样的去做。因为我也不会说，就是说，我是一家之主这样子，对吗？所以你一定要听我的。我不是，我不会选择这样的一些配合的方式啊，我都是会以一些比较你的看法跟我的看法，大家找一个共识的看法来做。这样子的话，我是认为才能够走得更长远，才能够双方面才能够做得开心嘛，是吧？
这样子我可以再问一下，就是你是否就是希望就是把你的公司就是传承给 Eunice， 就是传承给家族啊这样子，然后大概5到10年后啊，你觉得你对你的公司的前景有什么看法？
我的看法是这样，在我公司这方面来说，我是觉得没有问题了。怎样的传承给这个我的孩子来说，我是觉得这个对于一个人的理念 mindset 很重要啦。就是说，当然打工也是打工的好，就讲能够外面去学习，对吗？用这些时间卖给公司，换取一些 income， 对吧？但是如果是说直接来接触我这个行业，我是觉得是一个很好。为什么？就是说能够将自己的时间你去做到100% 是属于自己的，再加上能够有一些这种一些创造价值的一些给自己能够创造更加多的一些价值，能够给自己留下一个很多美好的回忆，也是能够使到自己更成熟，对吧？然后能够使到自己能够找得到这种个人的这个自信confidence对吧？当然在这方面的话做得好，就变得在物质方面我们就能够得到更提升，过得更有素质的生活嘛，对吧？所以这个就是说要倒回去看他个人怎样的去看待他的接下来要走的人生的这个 direction 所以你问到我要怎样的传承，最重要的还是倒回去看他自己本身去做选择。
明白。
可以吗？
所以你是不会去逼你的女儿去要继承你的生意就是不 compulsory。
我是不会我是让他自己去做选择。所以如果他能够参与的话，我真的是很开心。我也是能够，因为我的人也就是说也是要不断的去学习成长嘛。那么如果是说能够跟年轻的一起去配合，在学习成长当中，我的人生可能可以不断的学习成长对吧？我也是希望能够跟年轻的不断的一起去成长，这样子来使到大家能够创造更加多的这个价值给予这个社会，还是对于自己的这个 value 对吧？还是在于自己的这种收入改善的生活方式这方面如果他能够参与的话，真的一件好事。我是真的很希望有一天他能够发挥，我全部由他去做，我可以做他的 follower 没有关系的，因为这个也是对于我个人来说，我是对于我自己创造了一个很大的 value 给自己。为什么？因为我能够培育出那么棒的女儿，对吗？对我来讲是一件非常开心的事情。我只是担心，就是到时候他进来的话，只是想跟着来做，很像活路这样罢了，没有一些目标，没有一些 direction 的话，这个是比较头痛的问题。
Since you are the current employee in the company, are you going to take over the company in the future? So, and if so, how do you plan to prepare yourself before taking over your dad's business?
So let's backtrack a little bit, because in the past, right, I wasn't actually confident or willing to take over the business. But my father told me his story about how he managed to found APIBOX, and it wasn't because of his passion, but because of the need to just keep the family afloat. So I just wanted to return the favor and show gratitude for what he's done for us. So I think I'll continue with APIBOX. And right now I'm just taking all the business courses. And back in high school, I was actually a science stream student, but I felt like science wasn't really helpful. So I went for business, foundation in business, and now Bachelor of Business. So that's how I'm preparing myself.
So just now you did mention that you did change your stream from science to business. So I can assume that you got plans to take over your father's business in the future. So what are the future plans for APIBOX?
Future plans for APIBOX. Currently, we are a micro business where we're only operating in a small city in Sabah, Kota Kinabalu. And I'm hoping we can expand the business to hopefully either through a farther reach, maybe example Sandakan, or maybe even consider expanding to West Malaysia, KL someday.
So how do you pursue the value and culture of a family business, and how do you align your personal values and beliefs?
Currently, I see APIBOX as a business that really carries sincerity. So sincerity because our product itself shows it, where we are really hopeful that we can enable our customers to not only create value for society, where our products are really sustainable and recyclable, but also to give them the safety. Because we're not like other countries where children in Japan can just walk to school on their own. It's actually, we still have some crimes or thieves around the area, and they can easily break into houses. So by offering them these premium and durable products, we can actually help them feel safe at home as well. So as for my personal values, I really value equality and honesty. So how this can align to the business is that sincerity. Sincerity is like already like true to yourself, true to your values. So I think that they align very well.
这样子，接下来问题就是你怎样确保就是你的家庭价值观啊，有在你的企业里面，就是在你企业里面有做到这样子啦，会有那种
哦，OK，这一点我是认为，对于我们的个性来说，我相信我们个性来说都是很会去尊重的人，都会 respect 每一个人，对吗？所以从这一点开始的话，我相信这一点的话不会说，就讲我们不会那么的自私啦，都是说现在的生意人是说，我们都是很习惯的，都是以这种win-win 的一些 concept， 对吧？就是说，最怕你做不到，你能够做的越多的话，我很开心，我给更多，这点是我们是很愿意的。
So last question. So if you manage to succeed your father business in the future, will you still seek him for advice? Like even though the way you handle business is different from him.
Good question.
Good question, Chris.
Let's see. Let me see about whether or not if I think my father should continue working with me when I take over the business. So about that, I currently still have mixed opinions because in one hand, my father has told me before that he wants to be able to continue working even though he's old. He doesn't plan to retire because he said he'll get very bored at home. But then the second thing is, he's already like in his golden age. I don't want him to stress too much. Like he should be out there enjoying his life while he still can. So, I think I will ask him for advice if things get really complicated and I'm really not sure which direction I should go. But I think I'll also try to stand for myself first. If I can't, then only I'll rely on him.
但是你之前有讲过嘛，你之前有过好像在生意上的失败啊这样子啊，但是你有什么lesson 啊，就是你学到了什么啊，想要跟 Eunice 讲这样子，就是好像你想要他可以避免这个，然后做到更好这样子。
是的，其实我之前的生意失败，除了是怎么说呢，就是因为那时候对于公司的这个生意很 confident 啊，哇，一年能够赚 net profit 1 million 哦，所以真的是很 confident。但是后来刚才我说的，就是因为时代的变化哦，我们从 catalog sales 后来慢慢转变到淘宝线上，所以我们的这个是属于夕阳行业，后来就慢慢的被淘汰。那时候马来西亚还没有这样快，中国就很快了。但是其实这边也是开始了，就是讲后来自己也是有开始去转去这个一些在线上的一些行业、一些生意啊 ，catalog 的 product 放上去上面，但是还是做得不好，所以就是因为那个时候就是出现一个很大的问题，就是说很坚持啊，就是说我不做这个行业，因为我是做 marketing 的，我不做这个行业的话，我可以做什么？那时候我就有这样子的一些错误的 mindset， 怀疑自己的这个潜能 potential 了。就是说我不做这个我可以做什么，后来我连我自己的吉隆坡的不可以加六的家我都卖掉，对吧？然后又去全部帮助自己的这个生意这个行业一直坚持下去，等到最后真的是不顶了的话才甘愿才结束自己的行业。所以从这一点的话，真的是说自己不能够将一个鸡蛋放进一个篮里面了，所以要将那个鸡蛋呢放进不同的篮子里面，给自己有一个后路，不会过得就算失败的话，也不会说过得那么的痛苦，那么辛苦。从零开始是非常非常痛苦的一件事情啊，这个是我最大的我个人的教训。
After observing the 2 interview sessions with Mr. John and Eunice, 2 main conflicts of interest came to our attention. So, Eunice, your father has emphasized that the benefit of being self-employed. Does your father's opinion influence your probability of working in a corporate company?
To an extent, yes, but I will still aim to work in a corporate company during internship because I want to experience how professionals do things.
True. Okay.
Alright, so the second conflict is that Mr. John repeatedly mentioned the creation of value and hopes to continue with working with you. But you said that you weren't keen on involving your father in the business, so are you aware of the possibility of dispute in the future?
I'm not sure how it'll escalate, but at a certain point, I think so.
Okay.
So you just based on your father's point of view and ignoring your point of view to prevent conflict?
Of course not. Maybe I'll try to. I mean, I think at a point I'll also have to talk to him about it. So, Yeah.
Yeah, understood. Okay. So as a student learning about family businesses, so we strongly encourage you to communicate this with your father too, as you plan to do it, so it's good for you. Clearly identify your roles and responsibility in the company is a good thing to start up in the company to prevent conflicts with your father and your roles. So lastly, consult a professional if needed to plan out the business successions. If you and your father could not solve out this conflict, this should be the last options.
Yeah, I think it would be great if you involve the
A professional,
professionals,
yeah, because they are more experienced.
yeah,
in this
yeah,
sector.
and there'll be no biasness because you know you guys are not like
Oh, not keen.
ah
Yes,
yeah
yes.
yeah.
True, true.
Thank you
Okay.
both of you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.